Every second of your life runs on electricity. Your phone, your bank, your water, your entire world. In 1859, something hit Earth that made wires spark, machines fail, and the sky burn red. And we barely understood it. If that same event hit today, it wouldn't just cause disruption. It would shut down civilization as we know it. In September 1859, an English astronomer named Richard Carrington made a discovery that would become one of the most important warnings in human history. While observing the sun, he witnessed a massive solar flare, so bright it was visible without instruments. Hours later, Earth was struck by the most powerful geomagnetic storm ever recorded. At the time, the world had almost no electrical infrastructure. Today, everything we depend on runs on it. On September 1st, 1859, Richard Carrington was sitting at his telescope, sketching sunspots, when suddenly the surface of the sun erupted. A blinding flash of white light burst outward, something no one had ever seen before. 17 hours later, the impact reached Earth. It was the fastest solar storm ever recorded, and what followed was unlike anything in human history. The night sky lit up in colors people couldn't explain. Aurora borealis appeared far beyond the poles, glowing over Cuba, Hawaii, even Colombia. Some people woke up thinking morning had come early. Others thought entire cities were on fire. But the real chaos began with the telegraph systems, the most advanced technology of the time. Wires sparked violently. Operators received electric shocks. Some systems continued working even after being disconnected from power, as if the sky itself had taken control. But the telegraph disruptions were not a side effect of the storm. They were a preview of something far worse. Because what the telegraph did in 1859 is exactly what every wire, every grid, and every satellite would do today. If a Carrington-level solar storm hit Earth today, the damage wouldn't be limited to sparks and wires. It would cascade through every system we rely on. The power grid would be the first to fail. High-voltage transformers would overload and burn out within minutes, cutting electricity across entire continents. And unlike small components, these transformers are not easy to replace. The internet, often thought of as invisible, depends on very physical infrastructure. Submarine cables, data centers, and routing systems would begin failing almost immediately. Entire regions could go offline with no way to reconnect. GPS satellites would be disrupted or disabled, removing global navigation completely. Planes, ships, emergency services, all suddenly operating blind. Financial systems would freeze. No digital payments, no banking access, no transactions. The global economy would stop in real time. Communication networks, from mobile phones to military systems, would degrade or collapse entirely. Coordination disappears. And then supply chains break. Food, fuel, medicine, everything depends on synchronized logistics powered by electricity and communication. And here is the number that changes this from inconvenience to catastrophe. Because the transformers that power entire regions of the electrical grid cannot be quickly replaced. And without them, nothing else matters. At the center of this entire threat is one component most people have never seen: the high-voltage transformer. These machines are the backbone of the electrical grid, regulating power across vast distances by stepping voltage up for transmission and down for safe use in homes and industries. Without them, the grid simply cannot function. But these are not simple or easily replaceable devices. Each transformer is custom-built, often weighing hundreds of tons, and designed for specific locations within the grid. Manufacturing one is a complex process that can take anywhere from 12 to 18 months, sometimes even longer depending on size and specifications. Globally, only a limited number of facilities have the capability to produce these transformers. There is no large zapas or reserve stockpile ready to deploy in case of widespread failure. The system was never designed for simultaneous large-scale damage. In a Carrington-level solar event, hundreds of these transformers could fail at the same time, not temporarily damaged, but permanently destroyed by induced electrical currents overwhelming their internal structure. There is no coordinated system to replace them quickly, no emergency manufacturing pipeline, no realistic plan for rapid recovery at that scale. Without electricity, Essential systems begin to fail almost immediately. Water treatment plants stop functioning, hospitals lose critical equipment, and food storage systems break down. Within weeks, the crisis shifts from technological disruption to basic human survival. And this is not just a theoretical risk. It has already come dangerously close to happening, more than once. In March 1989, a powerful geomagnetic storm struck Earth and triggered a massive blackout across Quebec, Canada. Within seconds, the entire power grid collapsed, leaving nearly 6 million people without electricity for 9 hours. Lights went out, systems failed, and daily life came to a sudden stop. And yet, this event was only a fraction of the strength of the original Carrington-level storm. Then, in July 2012, something far more alarming occurred. A massive solar storm erupted from the sun, one that scientists later determined was comparable in strength to the 1859 event. But this time, Earth was not in its direct path. The storm passed through the exact region of space where Earth had been just 9 days earlier. A difference of little more than a week prevented a direct impact. If the timing had shifted slightly, the outcome could have been catastrophic. Researchers at NASA later confirmed that this was a Carrington-level event, capable of causing unprecedented global disruption. The estimated damage was staggering, over $2 trillion worldwide, with recovery timelines projected between 4 to 10 years. Entire systems could have failed simultaneously, with no immediate way to restore them. Modern infrastructure has never been tested against an event of this magnitude, and that leads to a question that remains unanswered, not just scientifically, but politically and globally. What are we actually doing to prepare for something we already know can happen again? Today, we do have systems in place to monitor space weather. Organizations like NOAA and European Space Agency continuously track solar activity, watching for flares and coronal mass ejections that could impact Earth. This level of observation gives us awareness, something humanity did not have in the past. But detection is not the same as prevention. Identifying a threat does not mean we can stop it. Once a major solar eruption is detected, the warning time before impact is extremely limited, usually between 15 to 60 minutes. On a human scale, that might seem manageable, but at the level of global infrastructure, it is almost meaningless. Power grids cannot simply be turned off instantly without triggering cascading failures. Satellites cannot be moved out of harm's way in such a short time frame. Some countries have started reinforcing parts of their infrastructure, attempting to protect critical systems from geomagnetic disturbances. But these measures are expensive, complex, and slow to implement. Large portions of the world remain unprotected, with no comprehensive strategy in place. The reality is simple. The threat is real, scientifically proven, and supported by historical events. But our level of preparation does not match the scale of the risk. And as the sun enters a more active phase, a solar maximum, the likelihood of such events only increases. Every system you depend on, every screen you check, every signal you trust, every connection you rely on, exists within conditions we don't fully control. The stability we experience feels permanent, but history has already shown how fragile even the most advanced civilizations can be. So the question is simple. If something beyond our control begins to shift again, are we actually prepared for what comes next? Or are we just assuming everything will keep working?